we're behind it and we're backing it. So do you think that's why a lot of us like we look for like we want to like get rich fast, so like let me be like a footballer or and like let me not be like a doctor or something like that. Like let me not like
it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I don't know anyone that doesn't want to be rich. Like everyone wants wealth, and so although there's, and I mean it's in no disrespect to people in these industries, but that's the easier way in terms of you play football and you're there. Whereas let's say for like doctors, it's a while before you become a high earning doctor. Obviously footballers, I understand you don't just arrive in the Premier League. I hear that completely. But the pipeline seems to be quicker maybe than being a doctor, because even when you do have all these qualifications, they're still going to overlook you. Whereas with talent, like raw talent, it gets to a point where it's impossible to ignore.
Like, you know, so fucked up. Because, you know, like, stuff like boxing and that, like, when it was, like, slavery days, they used to make us box against each other. Yeah. So do you think that's kind of just programmed in our head, like, type of thing, like, yeah, like, you know what, I'm not going to be, like, a doctor, man. I'm going to be a boxer or something like that. It's mad, isn't it, like, how they've programmed, like... And it's gone down from generation to generation.
So that goes back to my point about black excellence, because growing up, it was not for me personally, but I've seen a lot of people say when they were choosing like their options, GCSEs or their university degree, it was you have to be a lawyer, a doctor, or something like that. Do you get what I mean? Because those were the avenues that we have seen where that's where black people get success. So before the generation before, it was sports stars and musicians. Then below that, it was, okay, now doctors and lawyers seem to be doing all right, so let's do that. And so when you wanted to pursue something a little bit more creative, it was like, unless we can see that the talent is here and now, and you're going to make that money, you're going to go the safe route, where I know that you have to get the good money because it's inevitable. Once you become a lawyer, you're going to get cases, and so you're going to get money. So it's about the black excellence thing, because it's not that it's an easy route, but it's a sure route.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't like. There's a lot of people that are doing law and doing medicine that, if you ask them, probably wouldn't want to be doing that.
Absolutely, it happens all the time. No, it's true.
A lot of young black people have been forced into their career paths by their parents.
I think what you're saying about it being the short route, I feel like a lot of parents just don't want to take the risk. Obviously, like, I see there's potential in your creativity and that you can do well.
But there's no guarantee that you're going to be successful.
But there's nothing.
There's a greater risk there for us. There's nothing for us to fall back on.
There you go.
There's no family.
Montz
ain't got no job to
and for me being like a product of that, I feel like I had to change my mindset, because then it's like, but there's no guarantee that I'm gonna be a great doctor or whatnot, and like I can get the qualification, but then there's still gonna be doors that I still gonna have to cross. Like anything, I believe now, like anything you want in life, if you truly want it, you can get. But anything that is also like at a high skill level, it's gonna be hard to attain. Like I don't think people understand. Like high skills there's a reason why people are paid premium prices. It's not because it takes them 10 minutes to do, because it took them 25 years to create to get to that level. Like when you see like an artist and they've created a picture and you're like, raw, how quickly can you do that? Man, I'll do it in an hour. And you're like, yeah, how much is it? Like £500. You're like, what? What do you mean £500 in an hour? Nah, it took me 6 years to get to that point. So you're paying me 6 years, not an hour. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, what you saying, bro?
I think what you were saying earlier about whatever you feel like you can do in life, however hard it's gonna be, like you can do it if you put your mind to it. I feel like it's a good mentality to have, because I don't feel like a lot of people in our community have that.
Absolutely.
I feel like we focus too much on the barriers that are around us. Obviously, like our race and our skin color is a big barrier.
You see that?
You get what I'm trying to say, bro?
You see that point you said? Imagine if everyone in school went to school, done what they meant to do in school, imagine that.
Facts, bro.
Do you get it?
I'm not saying you don't even like me because I'm black. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Imagine that.
That might be true.
And this is what's always been my thing.
And that's why you always
we've
say,
always made. That's why I'm always like, I heard that, but we make so much excuses. Just get on with it. Just do what you have to do. But you get it?
Do you not know, that educational system is designed for us to be employers? So like employees, sorry. So like So like the whole education system was created by Rockefeller, not Jay-Z. It's no Jay-Z, and that was instilled because of labor work. So it teaches you, like, the whole education system today doesn't teach you. It's a memory test. Like, how can you define how smart you are by how much information you know? Every information we can find out today is on the internet. So what is the point of our exams in secondary school being based on what's the name of this person? What is the name of this person?
Do you know
They haven't used Pythagoras theorem.
Do you know so messed up about that? Because that is facts.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of stuff I know now, I just know from like just live my life.
Absolutely, and the reason why is because we are told if you do these certain things, you will get this level of grade. If you do get this level of grade, you're able to do this, this, and this, and this. If you're able to do this and this will be your pay grade. If someone can determine how much money you employed, they will always be able to control you. That's why when you're an apprentice and whatnot, don't ever ask, how much money do you earn? Because or pay me this much money. No. Once you start working for free, and this is why you always see those people that when they used to come to place and they work for free, and then 5 years later you see them in a completely different space. You're like, how comes? Because their whole goal wasn't to get a paycheck. The whole goal wasn't to say, let me get some quick money. Their goal was to learn the skills to enable them to do the full picture. And that's what always happens when you see them young apprentice or even coaches, football. Let me come in. Work experience people, they're the sickest guys because I just want to be in the room. Like, people ask, how did you start? I'm just in the room. I'm not trying to put me on or give me being an assistant. Let me be in the room, because if I be in the room, I can watch the smartest person in the room, and then I can go learn all the qualities and skills. Because like you said, they don't teach us about taxes. They don't teach us about credit. Yeah, I mean, credit is a scam anyway, because it's just basically telling you how much you should be able to borrow. I mean, again, why should we have to borrow things? It's a way of enabling us to keep buying things. But again, they don't teach us that. Then things of Taz says he doesn't learn never use Pythagoras theorem. There's only a certain demographic of people that's going to be able to use that. That's people that's going to work in maps and trains, and people that stuff like that. If that's not what you're trying to do, why do I need to learn it? But they put it across the whole board, and then if you're the type of person that gets, you end up getting a D or an E and F, you're automatically a failure. Now your complete avenue has changed, and then that's where Mike's example came in. They don't like me because I'm black. I miss you, you're hating me, and then all those things can come into pressures because, again, social parameters. Is it because you're young, this, etc. Go on, bro.
You see, if you talk about education, you see why I always have an issue with people saying, I never use this or I never use that. I hear it, but if you think about the transferable skills that are involved in education, regardless of whether we use it or not, there's always that discipline and that routine.
Absolutely.
Also,
you learn throughout school, so even if you don't end up using it, just the discipline alone, you put it to any practice that you go into.
Absolutely, I
agree.
agree.
People say things like, I've never used this, I never learned in school. Obviously, I hear it because that particular information you don't ever need. But it's like, imagine the hours you put into like revision, for example, or like making a timetable or the routine. You get it. So
absolutely. But
I feel like learning it gives you the opportunity to be able to say I didn't need it, but that's coming from a very selfish point of view, because you personally didn't need it, but obviously there are people that did
eventually need it.
And so I think we're gonna get on top of education, and I can talk for a while, but my issue with education isn't us learning it, because it's good to learn different things. It gives
us more options.
Yeah, but it's just about now the testing on it, because if I don't, but it gives you the opportunity to know that, okay, I never want to go into this. If you hadn't learned Pythagoras, you wouldn't know that you don't like it. Do you get what I mean? So I feel like there's a two-edged sword, and I feel like also you spoke about like learning about tax and credit. I feel like I hear what you're saying, but it gets to a point where, and it's not our parents' fault, but it gets to a point where it's also down to parents teaching their children. And I can speak about this. My perspective on this is different to other people's because of who my parents are. And so my parents aren't immigrants. So they learn because they were born here, whereas someone whose
so
parents...
they already have that sense of privilege.
I mean, where someone whose parents are immigrant parents, they might not have learnt these things, and so they can't teach you, and I completely understand that. But at what point do we now say, okay, we're going to learn it so we can teach our children? Because saying it needs to be taught in schools, there are so many things that need to be taught. Schools only have a certain set of hours, and as much as you may not agree with the curriculum, is there. So at what
But
point
curriculum never changes though. That's
that 100%, and it needs to. Don't get me wrong.
hasn't changed for many of
but
years.
at what point do we start taking, like Mike said, we stop complaining and we start saying, okay, I'm going to learn this for myself so that I can teach my child. So my mum didn't learn it from her parents, so she made sure to learn these things so that now whenever I start a new job, I instantly take my paychecks to my parents. Does this look okay? Because I don't know what's going on. I don't really want to, but I'm gonna have to learn. But I'm able to do that, and I know not a lot of people are able to do that because not a lot of people have those parents where they know these things, and it's unfortunate. But don't be in this thing where, well, because my parents didn't teach me, I'm not gonna learn it, so I'm not gonna teach it to my child. Because there's some people out there who are like our age who have been taxed completely wrong. And they're going to say it's because they didn't learn in school. All right, cool. But now you have all this information in front of you, available to you freely on the internet. When are you going to teach yourself
Absolutely.
that?
We have to take
initiative.
Absolutely,
I agree.
And again, it's about the whole generations thing, things being passed down. But it has to start at some generation. So if it's not going to start with us, then our kids are also going to be dunces. And so it happens to start with them. But if you have the opportunity to learn, because you haven't been able to learn from those above you, then do it.
Yeah, I totally
Because
agree.
we have to pass on something. And we talk about legacy as black people, and I feel like it doesn't always have to be something big. My mum's legacy could just be that she taught me how to know about tax, and for me that's good enough because it's important. And I feel like our legacy has to be something, it doesn't have to be big, but it has to be something that makes an impact on at least one person. And even if that person is your child, that is still a legacy. And it doesn't have to be anything big, like you've left them millions of pounds, but you've left them with the tools to know how to navigate in life. That is your legacy. And I feel like a lot of people focus on things that has to be big, and that goes into my point about black excellence.
And that's the point.
And,
That's okay.
And it doesn't have to be something huge, but just something small. Like I know, like I went with my mum to get her new car. I now know the process of getting a new car. I didn't know that before, and she didn't learn it from her parents. I don't know where. I mean, probably from my dad. But it's just a thing of you're teaching someone something new so that they can go and use it for themselves and pass it on, and that is your legacy.
That's agree.
But that's the thing with the black excellence for me. I think it's something personal.
Okay.
You say you want to chill. That's excellent to you. You get it? For example, I'm trying to say like. So I think the black excellence thing is something personal for
Personal
you.
to each individual. Yeah,
I'm trying to say.
That's a good point. I think
Who else would define it though? Like,
it has to be
Like, how could we define like we're not
the same person?
Thing, do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because my point, I guess you went in the room. I think my point was, black excellence is always seen as something big.
Great.
Yeah, like.
So we look at people that's like,
you have to make like $1 million.
He's doing music, but then he's also doing the publishing. He's also doing, and we say that is excellence because he's done so much. And it is. Don't get me wrong, 100% it is, but it's not by force to strive to do such big things.
Yeah, like
it's you can do something small, and like Mike said, that still counts as excellence. But in the wider terms, it won't be seen as excellence to the masses because it's not big like that. Do you get what I mean?
I just feel like in that sense, then the person in that scenario, like the person who just wants to chill, just do that small thing in their own little circle. Needs to be not everyone's going to see what you're doing as black excellence.
For example,
you can't make them feel that.
Yeah.
For example, the youth that's telling the youth that got the knife or the gun off the other youth and he's clean up his community. That's his black excellence. You get it?
No one might know about that.
No, man, no, yeah, it's true. Yeah, 100%, man.
100%.
But I think that's also a thing of wanting to do things for your community because you want to do it, not because you think it's going to be seen.
Yeah.
And obviously, if it does get seen, that's amazing. But knowing that you are making this small difference in your community just because you want to, and that's where your heart lies.
A lot of people want to be seen doing the work rather than doing the work.
Literally.
Is that and I think that, like, I agree with you. A lot of social media plays into that. Like this whole slacktivism movement of like people complaining on a platform or saying something on a platform or doing something on a platform to get likes or views to increase their endorphins, like to literally genuinely to make themselves feel good, like genuine stuff. So like, oh yeah, now you're doing bits, man. You're doing bits. You're helping community, but they ain't done that. They just showed people, look, I'm doing this. And how many times people do their thing where they record people giving food? Like if someone happens to be recording a video, and then in the background you see someone giving food, and then that ends up being on social media. It's a different concept, but people would be like, "Oh, thank you so much. I've got you chicken and rice. Yeah, you want a drink?" Bruv, I've literally seen in Waterloo one time. Yeah, a woman did that to a guy. Yeah, and a guy, and I think she gave him like a BLT or something. He's like, "I don't eat pork or not," and she's still like, "Nah, take it."
It's not about him. It's not about him.
It's not about you.
It's like, what do you mean you don't eat pork?
She's like, I spent £5. Like, and you don't, and also like, and I get this thing because like when people are like, oh, when the person may just want money, and you're thinking, oh, you want drugs and whatnot. Maybe I need £30 to be in the hostel for that night.
Even if I do want drugs, I'm living on the street. Let me have this 1 5-minute high while I'm cold.
It's true. No. I agree. This sounds
Do you get what I mean?
I agree because people.
I hear it. Yeah, you might get drugs. Fair enough. Because if I was living on the streets, me too. I just want to be out of it, so I'm not noticing.
No, I agree in a sense of I think there's this thing of like when people give money, there's a sense of entitlement. So like if I give Mikez or Treat money, exactly that. Oh, what have you done with your money? No. And it's like, it's not. What did you say, bro?
I said you will never give us money.
Give us no money.
In this life, have your own money. Okay. But yeah, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, why should you determine what the person's gonna do with them? If I've given you or a homeless person £5, what do you do with that £5? I've given because it's not my business anymore.
I feel in that scenario, I feel like me personally, I always like I'm feeding a habit, so that's why I don't do that.
But do you feel like subconsciously you've been conditioned to think that because of their perception?
No, because I've seen it play out.
You're like, oh, hey, man.
I've seen it play out. But give them bread and then they do it. And to be fair, like she was saying, like this is your state. Like I can't help you further. But me giving you money and then seeing you doing that is like
doesn't make you feel good.
If I didn't do that, you get it. So I will do it in a way where that's not going to be.
But can you guarantee that though? That wouldn't happen at that moment.
In a particular situation, you ask me for money as a homeless person. I can take you to Tesco's and feed. I'd rather put food in your belly than drugs.
But what if they need £30 for a hospital that night? Because sometimes they have their sign and they say that they be like, I need £22 to somewhere to sleep. Yeah. And are you still conscious about if I still give you the money? Maybe if you get 20.
Because it's been more direct, but the more time you just say, oh, have you got spare change? It's not as direct.
But even then, if someone is desperate enough to take people's coins and count them up to give to someone else, I don't know. I feel like it's a pride thing. Like for me personally, it would hurt my pride to have to give someone a bunch of coins for something. So if this person has to swallow their pride to do,
money is money.
People are underestimating how like crazy addictive.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I understand that. Like, there's the guy that's been on social media. Addiction isn't. But that's what I'm saying. You don't have to like. He's just thinking, I need this, and although we may come from a point of, I can't think of the word I'm saying, where we don't experience that. We've never felt that. So, I don't know about y'all, but I've never been addicted to something that is harmful to me. So I don't know that frame of mind. We have really gone off topic, by the way. But if they want to, as much as I wouldn't want them to, but
that's interesting. You say you've never been addicted to anything harmful. It doesn't necessarily
have to be harmful.
That's why I said I wouldn't say I haven't been addicted to. I have an addictive personality, but it's just not
a lot of things in this life.
Just not harmful in terms of to my body, and it's an instant result.
What do you think is the biggest addiction?
Like love could be harmful to your body.
What do you think is the biggest addiction in the world?
Yeah,
I think sugar.
Fair enough.
Sugar is the biggest addiction in this world.
Actually, yeah.
It is. That's what I personally think.
Do you know as well? Because like sugar, there's like access across all ages.
Yeah.
Like social media, there's like let's say like
a parameter.
14,
Yeah, the parameter.
50, 60.
I think sugar is the biggest addiction in this world because we consume it in so many, and through alcohol and through the foods and etc. And because it's disguised as an energy, we feel like we need it to live and we don't. And it's actually obviously like white sugar. Nah, bro.
but then there's sugar in everything though, even fruit.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's the biggest addiction in the world.
Natural sugars though,
because we need it to. We don't need it, but we feel like we need it. How many times? with something sweet.
I don't like sweet food.
No, but we still consume it. But you drink alcohol. But you know what I'm saying?
I drink alcohol to get drunk.
Alcohol is still sugar.
I'm not addicted to alcohol. I drink it to get drunk.
Huh?
I drink it to get drunk.
But really and truly, what the fuck am I drinking? I'm not gonna tell you.
I don't drink alcohol every
But
day.
distilled sugar is ethyl, in which it makes you drunk. So that's and if
I'm
the
not
fact that
addicted to it.
Moving on.
Have you lot some social media intake?
What's up?
Ridiculously high.
How is your social media intake?
Yeah,
Mine is low.
mine's quite high.
I think mine's moderate still.
You're different,
No,
because
touch.
your field of work, I'd expect.
Yeah, mine's quite high in
Wait,
because of
is
that.
YouTube social media?
Yes.
Yeah. Now let's say let me check my screen time.
Not necessarily.
But it is.
Interact with the comments.
No, I don't do that. That's like social media.
But is it
I wouldn't say social media.
But the videos I watch, like I watch different. I don't watch normal videos that people watch.
Oh yeah.
That's on the sus.
I watch stuff like people forging weapons.
Brother,
What?
I'm beeping your thing. You're saying forging weapons.
Yeah, like porn stars.
Brother.
Do you know about porn? You know, like the porn star thing in America when they go to the shop and they pawn their
Oh,
stuff.
as in PAWN.
Yeah, PA. Yeah,
Okay.
Like, I watch stuff like
Colin-
that.
Colin-
I watch like I watch UFO
Nah,
stuff.
don't pass this guy, man.
I watch UFO stuff. I watch like animal stuff.
Yeah,
I watch bare different
I
stuff.
wouldn't say that's social media though.
I think it's more Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, I don't.
I say really on it.
I can't use Twitter. I don't know how to use Twitter.
Interaction.
Matt's replied to me for the first time.
I can't use Twitter.
Yeah, man, tweeted my tweet. I say, yo, he's alive.
I'm not
Yeah,
on
but
social
yeah,
media.
I consume a lot, and I think I would. This is the thing, because it's like to even say that you're addicted to something is a progression, because a lot of people can't say no, I'm not addicted, but then when you withdraw it from them, you see the mannerisms appear, and I think my addiction is similar to what you say, with like process, in the sense of I have to consume this information to stay current. But it's very unfortunate, because I know that 20 years ago there was probably a different method to do that. So yeah, that's my input.
Personally, I think the happiest time in my life was when I was a child.
When I was playing Pokemon, BBM, chicken and chips and that, bro. Good life. Life of unemployment.
Word.
Life stuff.
Yeah. MTM Uncut. Come on. Yeah. Live. That's cool, man. Thanks.